British-born Muslim who formerly belonged to a radical Islamic group and now advocates for secular Islam. He's an author and the founder of the counter-extremism think tank called the Quilliam Foundation. Following the attack in Paris on July 14, 2016, Maajid Nawaz made some comments regarding the need for open discussion and dialogue while dismissing the term Islamophobia, saying that anything that suppresses discussion will damage the communities that one hopes to help.
You're aware of this, I think you live in the UK, but here in the United States, noting the essentially religious nature of the impulses behind these attacks is dismissed as Islamophobia. What do you think of that?
It's the same, unfortunately, here in many of my fellow liberal circles across Europe and in Britain. And I think there's a double standard at play here, and that double standard is born, unfortunately, of what I call a bigotry of low expectations. Muslims, brown-skinned people, generally people of color, are being judged by a lesser standard, an illiberal standard, as if there's an expectation that we can't possibly be secular Democrats. And I think that's a form of bigotry. And I challenge it, and it's incredibly unfortunate because it leads to the discrimination and disempowerment of the very communities these my fellow liberals are purporting to want to support.
He is then asked if he agrees with those who say even using the terms like radical Islamic terrorism will alienate Muslims and make moderate Muslims less likely to come forward.
On the contrary, I think what it does, call this the Islamist ideology and in its violent manifestation, jihadist terrorism, what it does is it allows reforming Muslims within the Muslim community, it provides them with a lexicon and allows them to engage in that conversation to address these very uncomfortable issues that are all real and present within our communities. There are serious challenges around equality, gender rights, sexuality rights. Only today, Qandil Baloch, a Pakistani singer and actress and social media star, was killed allegedly by her own brother in a so-called honor killing. These are issues that are often justified, not always, but often justified by religion. And it's why I say it's ignorant to say this has nothing to do with Islam. That's as unhelpful, frankly, Anna, as saying that is Islam. I think the truth is in the middle. Of course, the blindingly obvious is to recognize that this has something to do with Islam, not nothing and not everything. And if we were to be consistent and apply the same standard we apply to historical Christianity, just imagine how absurd it would sound for somebody to argue that the Inquisition, the Spanish Inquisition, had nothing to do with Christianity or Catholicism, or that the Crusades had nothing to do with Pope Urban II and Catholicism and Christianity. It would sound absurd, and these same liberals are the first to jump on Christian fundamentalists when anti-abortion clinics are blown up, yet somehow that standard is abandoned when it comes to my fellow Muslims and my community. And I think that the bigotry of low expectation can only lead, as I said, to the disempowerment of those beleaguered reformist Muslim voices. There are many who exist, many pay for it with their lives. They need our support. If liberals, my fellow liberals, are concerned about minority communities, they should be first and foremost concerned about those women, those gay Muslims, those secular Muslims who are struggling within their own community for their rights.
Man, I wish we had an hour-long special to really unpack all of this. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but we're grateful that you came on again. We'll hope you come back again. Thanks.
Pleasure.
Maajid Nawaz was clear in his view that refusing to talk openly about issues that exist within the Islamic community will hurt the communities themselves. There are serious issues, from women's rights to terrorist activities to honor killings to Sharia law and more, that need to be openly engaged. Failure to do this will not help better immigration practices, nor will it help integration over time. There are many, many moderate Muslims who are weakened when discussion ends. They lose their ability to have discussion and debate within their own communities when conversation can't even be had outside of it. Those that hold more extreme views are emboldened and strengthened when others cannot ask questions surrounding those issues. This promotes nothing more than confirmation bias. Let's take a look at a few quick polls from Britain. This first poll shows that 20% of Muslims who are living in the United Kingdom think that Western liberal society can never be compatible with Islam. Here, 78% of Muslims living within the UK agree that they are deeply offended when images of the Prophet are published. These are not Muslims worldwide. This is 78% of the Muslims who live within the United Kingdom. Here, at least 24% say that using violence against those who publish an image can be justified. Now that equates to at least 648,000 people in the United Kingdom, in the census that was taken from 2011. The population has grown since then, but the next census isn't due until 2021. Here, 31% would prefer to send their children to Muslim state schools if they could. For me, the most troubling result of this particular poll includes the fact that 32% of Muslims living in the United Kingdom understand the motives of those who attack in the name of Islam because the religion has been insulted. Now that amounts to about 864,000 people as of 2011. This poll was conducted in 2015. When you look at that and consider again that 78% of all Muslims in the UK felt deeply offended, and that's more than 2,100,000 people, it draws attention to how bad the need for conversation is and how bad the word Islamophobia is. When 1/4 of Muslims believe that violence can be justified for publishing an image, and 1/3 understand the motives behind violence if it insults the religion of Islam, therein lies the problem. Islam is a religion. It's an idea. The blasphemy laws within many Islamic majority countries, plus aspects of this religion that conflate criticism or satire with insult on a personal level, mean that the use of the word Islamophobia needs either a very, very clear definition or it should not be used. In Canada, Petition E411 was accepted in the House of Commons. It ends with, "These violent individuals do not reflect in any way the values or the teachings of the religion of Islam. In fact, they misrepresent the religion. We categorically reject all their activities. They in no way represent the religion, the beliefs, and the desire of Muslims to coexist in peace with all peoples of the world. We, the undersigned, citizens and residents of Canada, call upon the House of Commons to join us in recognizing that extremist individuals do not represent the religion of Islam, and in condemning all forms of Islamophobia." Now, saying it has nothing to do with Islam is wrong. As Maajid explained, it would be correct to say it's got something to do with Islam. Not everything, but something. Adding Islamophobia at the end of the document is also wrong. Now, 2 days ago, Motion M103 was passed calling for a whole-of-government approach to ending Islamophobia without defining Islamophobia at all. Anyone who takes steps to end discussion surrounding important issues in any community weakens those within the community itself that are trying to affect positive change. Why so many fail to realize this is beyond me. Maajid Nawaz and others are trying to positively affect changes within Muslim communities themselves, stopping their discussions and giving any legitimacy to those who feel personally offended is not the right direction for a government to take. Remember, like and subscribe, but most importantly, leave comments and engage with others. Open discussion is always needed. If you have nothing valid to say,
zero fucks given.